So I've been a Christian about 40 years. Been through many different movements, I guess you could say, from Pentecostalism through to Wimber. We did mission in clubs in the 80s, opened our house up and used to house lots of folks we'd find in the streets and flats, things like that. Filled rooms full of sleeping bags and did all that. And a few years later after that, we got into the progressive Christian movement. So alternative worship and Marxism, I guess. Lots of different types of approaches, lots of experiments in community, and I guess try to be a new kind of Christian. Alongside of that, of course, there's many years of Come Holy Spirit stuff, praying over the sick, casting out demons, going on big, huge conferences and laying hands on people and teaching people to ask the Holy Spirit to come and do all kinds of crazy stuff. Some good, some not so good. So years after that, we got into more progressive Christianity, and I hit a wall about 2012. I'd been in a Christian funding organisation, funding lots of ideas around the country. Small projects, all kinds of shapes and sizes, involving lots of different churches. And I came to the end of, I think, 2012, and I just went, I don't actually know what Christianity means anymore. I've seen every kind of flavour you could think of, and every kind of theology. I've been morphing through so many different types of ways of being Christian. I came to the end of it, this postmodern, fuzzy world, and wasn't sure what I believed in anymore. That was quite a hard thing to face up to. So I kind of crashed, really. And I kind of made a last ditch attempt at trying to really get to grips with what it's all about. So I did a deal with myself, and I said, there's one thing left I haven't really tried, and that is I need to try the Old Testament. I'm going to go through it from Genesis again, and I'm going to look at every single command and every instruction that Jesus followed. And I called it 1 year with Yeshua. I would spend a year doing it, and I would see how many commandments I came across. And if I found that any weren't doable, and if I found that I was reading anything in the narratives that seemed to be untrue, I would put the Bible in the bucket. So I started that as a last-ditch attempt. And what happened next was absolutely amazing. I came to the 10 Commandments, and I started reading through the 10 Commandments, and I went, why the heck didn't anybody tell me that you're actually supposed to do these commandments? It didn't really get into my head. So I started doing them. Went through them one at a time. You shall have no other gods before me. Kept going through it. And then I kept moving into new ones. I think it was the food commandments. So I started making sure I wasn't eating bacon anymore, and not eating blood. So no black pudding. I still love black pudding. No bacon. And I started going through it. And then I started doing the feasts. So I was going, all right, it's this time of year. All right. And it was just about the night of Tabernacles, the first night. So I got a hold of, I said, how on earth am I going to do a tabernacle? So I looked at it, and there wasn't any instructions there about exactly how to build it. So I just went ahead and I ran outside in a flat in Edinburgh, and I got bits of tent poles, and I ran around looking for foliage of all kinds, herbs as well, old plants. I think I even had grape stalks as well, and all kinds of stuff. And I just built it outside in the backyard. Neighbours thought I was completely nuts. Think, what the heck are you doing? I started building a tabernacle. Why? Because it says in the Bible you've got to build a tabernacle. Anyway, so this is the first feast I tried. So I kind of built a rough looking tabernacle. It was, there was kind of spitting rain a little bit, and it kept coming through the leaves and the branches, but I was sitting there and got an old seat outside in the backyard, and I sat under it like this, and I had my laptop, so it was giving me light in the dark, and I just felt this wave of peace. I think for the first time in decades, I'm not making stuff up. I'm actually doing something he's commanded me to do in the Bible. And I feel I'm pleasing him. It's so simple. If you're a child of a father and you want to please him, you do what he tells you to do. End result. I felt for the first time a sense of security, peace. I just felt something tying together. I felt all the broken bits were just starting to, as I proceeded through the months, and I did the other feasts, and I kept looking for new commandments to obey. You couldn't do all the priestly stuff and the temple stuff because there's no temple on earth, and there's no law courts, so you can't go around stoning people, which I was quite pleased about. So, but the rest of it, there's tons. There's not as much as 613, so I was told from various rabbinic places. There's only a couple of hundred. So I kept away from all the rabbinic stuff on YouTube, and I just read the Bible and just did what it said. And just, towards other teachers, just bog off. I'm not listening to anybody. I'm going to read it for myself. And so that's my start. That's my first steps. My 1 year with Yeshua, which is obeying everything that he obeyed in 1 year. There's a lot more to tell in the story, but that's basically my starter. So in the next few YouTube videos, I'm going to go into more detail. There's a whole bunch of stuff I've discovered since. This is 12 years later. I was going to do a report to all my friends after a year, but sorry guys, it's taken 12 years, but better late than never. So farewell, see you in the next YouTube, and I'll explain more. Thank you. See you later.